Hey,
Beautiful.
this is just a test. Is this on? 1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say testing. But
So you speak German very well. Have you been here or?
I have. I was in Frankfurt and Berlin, and I studied German when I was in university years ago. Yeah. Or ja.
Cool.
Ja, ich war eine sehr geile Zeit.
Great.
But thank you. Danke. Makes me feel special. I'll let everybody I know that.
Yeah, my spoken English is little bit, how you can say, rusty, but I try hard.
Hey, you know what? You sound good to me.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need to help me with some words or so.
We can set up a thing. We'll chat each week. We'll go over it. You'll help me. You'll help me mit meine Deutsch, and I will help you mit deiner English.
Okay.
Ach ja, sehr gut. Wunderschön. Scheiße schön. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Rock Metal Podcast. I am your host, John Harris, and today on the Rock Metal Podcast, we have Old Mother Hell. And they've got a new album called The Lord of Demise, which was released on October 23rd via Cruz del Sur Music. Right now I'm being joined by Bale to share some more information about what the band has got going on, what they've been up to, what they're going to be up to. So, band, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much, and hello from Germany.
Well, hallo, na, wie geht's dir?
Mir geht's prima, danke.
Ooh, prima. I haven't heard prima in ages. I mean, that means you're doing excellent, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. All right. Now, speaking of doing excellent, in the pre-roll there, we were chatting the current state of affairs of the world. Now, I see that the album is going to be released October 23rd. For some bands, that's been pushed out X number of months. For other bands, this was always the plan. So I guess my opening question, Bound, is this year, coronavirus, has it been good for Old Mother Hell, surprisingly, or has it not been good for Old Mother Hell?
A little bit of both, I would say. Good is, of course, that we had time to do the album. We would have done it anyway, but no shows means more time focusing on recording. Bad because no shows. I just checked the last time I was on a stage was in October 2019, and this is almost an entire year, and it really sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. So I mean, take us through October 2019. It was the last show you guys did. What was going on? Was it like the close of a tour, or what? Like, what was going on? What were you guys ramping up to do? Is that when you guys went into the studio?
Not exactly. It was the time where we were in the phase of pre-producing the first demo. I don't remember it quite well, but I guess we had some other show planned in the end of 2019, but it got canceled on a totally different reason. And then all this pandemic stuff hit, and we had more time on focusing on the album, but we didn't plan it that way. We would have released it anyway this year in around October, so the pandemic has nothing to do with that anyway.
Okay. Now, something you mentioned was, with no shows, there's more time to focus on recording. So I guess take us through that. Since you guys had more time, what did you guys do? Did you spend more time tweaking the songs themselves, like the writing of the songs? Did you spend more time on actual production on the album? What, I guess, is different about this album that potentially couldn't have been if there was shows?
Oh, I think this came out a little wrong. We didn't have more. No, we didn't use more time, but at least we had more focus because there weren't any shows between recording. We had booked the studio for our 5 days. We had planned this beforehand. We wanted to play all the songs live, at least the basic instrument tracks, solos and vocals. We overdubbed as we did with the debut album. And then we had time to do the vocal recordings. We did it in Cologne, where I am living now. And yeah, so we could stretch it a little bit more and have that time completely focusing on the album, but not exactly more days in the studio or something like that.
Oh, okay. 5 days, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, 5 days for the instruments and then another 2 weekends for the vocals. We write the songs completely in our rehearsal room. Everybody has the opportunity to make a pre-production today, which sounds really, really good. Not in the old days, like with 4 tracks tape or something.
You mean like 4 tracks the first time, and then you overdub that, and then you got 8 tracks, and you overdub that, and then you got 16 tracks.
I was too lazy to do something like this.
All right. So I guess my next question then is, what were you guys looking to do with this album, Lord of Demise? Is there a concept to the album?
Actually, no, there isn't, but everybody keeps asking that. That's quite funny. You could say there is a major theme in this album, maybe a little bit, but it wasn't the plan at all. We're just a bunch of guys having fun doing what we do with our music, and we just write one song after the other, and we always look at one song. We are no concept album guys, I think.
Okay. I guess the reason that I asked anyway was the album artwork looks very suggestive that there's some kind of a story going on, because it looks like you've got what I'm guessing is the Lord of the Demise encapsulating some kind of a city or something. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, take us through this story. What happens in the Demise? But I guess there's no story of the Demise.
No real story. As I said, you got it right. The Lord of Demise is the title track. But actually, the Lord of Demise himself, I don't know what it is or who he is. I had a nightmare some years ago where this spinning figurine was above my head and always screaming, "Is the Lord of Demise still alive?" Actually, was saying, "Ist der Gott des Todes noch am Leben?" But
which sounds extra.
Yeah,
it sounds extra evil when you say it that way.
Yeah, German is totally evil. Well, and that's the base of this. The song, the lyrics are based on this nightmare. It actually has nothing to do with the rest of the story, if you say, or if you want to call it a story. But this whole nature is destroyed and still fights against the Lord of Demise, or the destruction as a person, if you want to put it that way, is something we have in Estranged, in Edge of Time specifically. And you could put shadows within in this thing also, but actually, well, I would lie if I would say we planned that all along.
Okay. One of the tracks you wanted to chat about actually was Lord of Demise, the title track. And I believe one of the other singles that was released was Betrayal at the Sea, which opens the album. Mm-hmm. So I guess my question, Bound, is why not chat about the opening track. And why did you want to chat about Lord of Demise?
Well, I just wanted to tell the nightmare story.
and it worked. I mean, I looked up using Google Translate how I would say I am the Lord of Demise. It doesn't sound like what you said, but Ich bin der Herr des Untergangs.
Yeah, well, in my nightmare it was Tod, death, but Lord of Death just wasn't fitting. So I just couldn't sing Lord of Death. It's the metric it's not right.
Yeah, it's completely different meter on that one. Ich bin der Herr des Todes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Unless, of course, have you ever seen the thing, maybe or not, there's a TV show called Scrubs years ago, and there's a Canadian from BC on there, and I can't remember her name. Somebody listening in right now probably knows her name, and she was fluent in German, and there's this whole scene where somebody's like, yeah, but isn't German a creepy language or something? And she's like, well, if I'm being an evil Hausfrau, then it sounds, evil. And she like screamed something and it sounded really angry. And then she's like, but I could also be a nice little milkmaid. And she sounded really sweet. So I always remember that. It's kind of funny.
Okay. I don't know the episode, but I know Scrubs, yeah.
You got to look that one up. Sweet. Beautiful. Okay. Well, you told the story. It was a great story. I enjoyed it. Now, Avenging Angel, is this the counter to the Lord of Demise? Is this, I know there's no story, but is this our protagonist to the antagonist, if there would be?
No, Avenging Angel is a funny story. Avenging Angel, I had this picture in mind suddenly. I don't know where it came from. About this woman standing on a hill. It is a rainy night, heavy rain, and a thunderstorm, and she's chased by the police because she just killed another of these assholes she suffered her whole life from. It's a story about child abuse and rape and stuff, and she is the Avenging Angel who, doesn't nice things too, but there is some sense of revenge in it. And I had this picture in mind, and so the lyrics wrote themselves, I guess, within an hour or so, and I tried some riffs, and was quite enthused by them, and I went to the rehearsal room, and then Ronnie, our bassist, came and said, I have this lick, it would be perfect for an opening of a song. And he played it, and I said, wow, wait a minute, that's exactly fitting to what I have as a new idea for a song. And it really did. I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I love that story. I love that moment. And we still think about it very much.
Wow.
It was meant to be for Old Mother Hell, this song, I guess.
It sure was. And I especially enjoy your impression of his voice when he was chatting with you.
Well, I don't know if he doesn't sound like that exactly, but okay.
Beautiful. Okay. Now, Avenging Angel gets the lyric video. So I guess my next question for you is, out of all the tracks on the album, because I don't even think Betrayal at Sea got a lyric video. I think it's just like a visualizer video. What was it about Avenging Angel that said, man, people got to know the lyrics on this song?
Oh, that's a difficult one. Actually, we had the possibility to do one song like this, and Enrico from Cruz Azul asked us just which song we want to do. And we looked at the stuff Gabi Bessoni did in the past and said, well, Avenging Angel is something like... like a Marvel character almost. A dark Marvel character maybe, but something like Spider-Man, Avenging Angel or whatever. And her style was perfectly fitting this comical theme, I guess. And so we decided to just try Avenging Angel. And then Enrico decided to, but let's start with Betrayal at the Sea. We just put the cover there. We have the reveal of the cover, and so it's the more direct song. Let's try this as the first, and just put Avenging Angel as the second with the lyric video. Okay.
Perfect. Now, heading back to the production of the record, I absolutely dig it. And one of the things that I noticed is you mentioned that you guys did it live off the floor. Did you guys use a click track? Because it sounds incredibly tight.
Yes, we did use a click track, but actually this was kind of a pain. The producer, Jens Siefert from Rama Studio, said afterwards, because we recorded a lot of Demise completely live for the Keep It True Corona video stream thing. Mm-hmm. You can find it on our YouTube channel also. And he said, well, he preferred this version where we played without click track. And he said, next time you come to my studio, you record without click track, because it's still more this live feeling which we aimed for. We did it the last time with the debut. Also, we went to him and said, well, we want to do it just like in the rehearsal room, except for vocals and solos, because then we would need to stay there for a whole year, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he would have loved that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, you play the guitar, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to double check. That's what I've got written down, but I've been told lies before, Bernd. Now, I'm super curious. Did you guys record DIs and then reamp it later, or is this the tone that we're hearing that you guys tracked with?
It's absolutely the tone. We used my own amp, which is an Engel. What's the name? Oh God, I'm not good with gear. I'm a singer who plays guitar, not a guitar player per se. Well, and we added via a split cable an old Marshall amp, a very old Marshall amp, and that's really the live tone. No reamping there. Also with the bass, we used a huge MPEG bass amp, and the drum kit is Michi's drum kit. He plays always.
Mm-hmm. Herr Fühlich.
Well, Jens Sievert is the producer, is really an old school type of guy regarding sound and stuff. So he knows very much. He has some quite, at least for me, unorthodox ways to get there. But yeah, it's really just like in the 70s or something we have, but with more tracks available. Well, I guess he used about 30 tracks, I guess. I don't know, but really a lot of mics were there in this great sounding room. No drum booth or something, no bass player sitting in the what you call the Regieraum in English, I don't know, at the
control
mixing
room?
Yeah, the control room. No, we were just in this huge room together, standing there like in our rehearsal room, but of course the rehearsal room isn't that huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, something you mentioned there was a coronavirus live stream, and that takes me to kind of back to, in the beginning we were chatting about coronavirus for the band. So is like the live streaming something you guys have been doing during this time?
Actually, not really, because after the recordings, Michi, the drummer, had a little, well, not a little, actually. What's the name? The inflammation in his wrist because of the recordings, and it's still not quite good yet. So actually, thanks to Corona, we don't need to cancel the shows ourselves. Another advantage for us in this crazy time.
I'm actually looking up potentially how to say this, and it's exactly the same in German if Google is correct. Carpaltunnelsyndrom.
Yeah, something like that, I guess. Yeah.
Maybe. Or it could just be inflammation.
Yeah.
Another one, and this is just going to be a literal translation, tennisarm.
Yeah.
Except in the wrist.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Entzündung. Is that how you say inflammation? Entzündung.
Yeah, Entzündung, yeah. No,
Yeah.
Not so, the Ü is not so long.
You're right. I was throwing a little too much into that.
Maybe if it's really hurting.
If it's like a lot of inflammation, then you definitely throw everything into that.
Yeah.
Not as much as fünf, but enough. Sweet. All right. So we definitely have some crazy topics on this record. It seems a lot like a social commentary of sorts. One of the tracks that we were chatting about, Avenging Angel, with child abuse and whatnot. And with that sort of thing really bubbling up around the world with a lot of people who are unfortunately in lockdown, in terrible situations. Is this record something that you're kind of looking at now and going, whoa, that's weird that we wrote that and then all of this happened?
A little bit, yeah. Actually, Michi said, well, do you think we could use these lyrics the way we wrote them? It was more related to Edge of Time in this specific situation, because he said, well, everyone can think, well, with the corona pandemic and so. And I said, no, why? We didn't intend that. And yeah, if it's fitting the time, then it's, well, in some way lucky that we did it that time, but it doesn't change what we wanted to say with the song anyway. So someone called us prophets. I hope not, but who knows?
Well, yeah, with a name like Old Mother Hell and then being called a prophet, it almost kind of sounds like a witch.
Maybe.
I don't remember how to say that. It's probably something similar, isn't it? Hexe?
Yes, correct.
I never learned how to say witch in German.
Welcome to German lessons with Old Mother Hell.
Exactly. No, the only one that I remember is a really bad word. What is it? Probably shouldn't say it. Schluche? No. How do you say it? Oh, man. It's what you call a slut. Schlampe. There we go. That is different from a witch. Witch is hexe.
Yeah, quite different.
Slut is schlampe. So there we go. Beautiful. All right. Well, that answers all of my questions. We chatted about what you guys have been up to, during this time, what you guys have been doing in place of, say shows or whatever. We chatted about a couple of tracks off of the record and the topics therein. Is there anything that you wanted to chat about that I didn't bring up?
Well, as you are in Canada and we don't have been there, we didn't have been there. Maybe do you know anything about the fans there? Can you tell me something about the scene? How is Old Mother Hell fitting there? When should we come after this pandemic ends?
I guess that's my first thing is, well, the pandemic has to be over.
Yeah, of course.
As far as I know, we're not allowing any shows or anything like that.
Yeah.
At this time, I know some countries are, if there's contact tracing in limited sizes. There was a band, I think, from Switzerland I was chatting with. They allow 50 people in the venue, but that includes everybody. That includes the security guards. We're not doing anything like that. But you guys would definitely fit in and to make your trip worthwhile, because Canada is a very big country and there's not a whole lot in the majority of Canada. So I would recommend hitting up Montreal and the surrounding cities and going to Toronto and the surrounding cities, maybe even upwards as far as Quebec City and Ottawa. If you guys have enough money and enough time, then you can start venturing out west towards Vancouver, before potentially doing something else. But the only way I would really recommend that is if you could intersperse it with some dates in the States. And then that way you kind of make your trek to North America. If you could include Mexico too, that'd be awesome as well. You should make your trip to North America, as worthwhile as possible, because going from Toronto to Vancouver, and I'm from that area. I'm from Winnipeg, which is the dead center of Canada, and I live in Edmonton right now, which is still in the prairie but further west. There's nothing out here, and it's bands do it, but I don't know how they make money. It's probably just for the sake of coming out to see fans, coming out to play the show.
Yeah, well, when we ever come right there to Vancouver, we have to play again with Gatekeeper, where we shared the stage in Germany last year. And yeah, well, it was such a fun evening. The Canadians are, they lived up to the cliche of Canada. Of Canadians.
There was a cliche about Canadians, but
not so much a German thing, but the internet thing. Well, you always, I always, as I'm a quite a big nerd, I'm very very much in how do you say it? Damn it. I'm reading stuff, Imager, the image picture community. You ever heard of that?
Maybe Imgur. Is that?
Yeah, Imgur. I don't know how you call it, how you pronounce it. Yeah, I mean Imgur. And there, you always get memes about Canadians being the nicest people in the world. And well, we met Gatekeeper, and it must be true. Now I met you here in this podcast, and still, it must be true.
Well, danke schön, meine Freund.
You're welcome.
Bitte. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it, baby. I will go ahead and hit stop. Oh yeah, did I thank you for coming on? Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.